What's going on, guys? Pretty good week for WG, as if I do say so myself. All of our upset picks hit. Um, Panthers and Pats won, which we'll get into more. The Steelers didn't play, but watched every team in their division lose, so that's pretty good.
Going well. Yeah, that's awesome.
As always, we're your host, Adam.
Dante?
And Luke.
Want to shout out my dad, who I know will be listening to this week from Japan, where he is for work currently.
Oh,
So,
WG has gone international. That's awesome.
yes, WG has reached another country officially.
That's
So. All
surprising
right.
for Japan to be the first one. That's kind of crazy, but that's
Yeah.
it.
All right.
As
Well,
far as we know, I can check the analytics, see where else people are listening from. But
We are huge in like France. I'll just say
oh
that.
yeah,
oh, I'm
like
sure, man.
Estonia, big WG
Estonia?
people.
Yeah. Sri Lanka.
Canada's got to be popping with WG fans.
No, they hate us.
That's true. They don't have NFL down there. Yeah, it's all hockey, eh?
All right.
All right.
Down there.
Um, yeah, I guess up there. Whoops, I didn't pay attention much in geography. But let's get into this week's fantasy leaders, and I want to reach out a special thank you to Miami and the Dolphins for letting our sweet RB2 Rico Dowdle pop off for 234 all-purpose yards. A special thank you, the third highest yardage for a Panther in a game in team history, only behind Christian McCaffrey, who got 237 yards in a game twice. So, yeah, shout out to him. He is obviously the number one in fantasy overall this week with 32.4 points, which I guess means I'll start with the running backs.
Um,
Behind him was Jonathan Taylor, who had 31.6, with his third appearance of the year on the list, and Kyron Williams, who had 31.1. Anyways, sorry about that. On to the quarterbacks. We had CJ Stroud as this week's leader with 28.76, the backwards version of 6'7".
dude. All right.
Uh,
And there goes
Dak
all of
Prescott,
our French listeners.
Dak Prescott, Dak Prescott had 28.28, his second appearance on the fantasy list this year. And Sam Darnold had 27.64, one of many Seahawks you will see on the list this week. Wide receivers, our leader this week was Emeka Egbuka with 31.3. Then you had Jamar Chase with 29 on the dot. Jamar Chase's second appearance on the fantasy list this year. Followed up by JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, 27.2. And tight ends were led by Seahawks tight end AJ Barner with 24.3, followed by Jake Ferguson, 23.9, his third appearance on the fantasy list this year. And Penn Stater Theo Johnson wraps it out with 21.3 for the Giants. So,
Before we move on, can I make a quick comment about Rico Dowdle?
yeah.
I played him. I played my friend Trevor. Trevor, friend of the show, listener. Guy put up like 40 points on me. This was like, I had the worst week fantasy wise, and I'm watching the game with my friend Trevor, and he's just like, dude, Rico Dowdle, 20-yard run, and I'm like, this is the worst day of my life. So shout out to Rico Dowdle. That's awesome that he went off, but Trevor, I hate you. Anyway, let's move on.
Shout out Trevor for being a WG listener.
Yeah, shout out my king. Love
Um,
him.
anyways, let's move on to our week 6 predictions. We all went 6-8 last week. Not ideal, but like I said, we all got our upset predictions correct. Everyone got their lock correct except for Luke, who was a bozo that took Arizona. But who was
Yeah.
really expecting that? But anyway, Thursday night football, we have Philly and New York, a rivalry as old as time. You have the Phillies and the Mets, and I'm sure you have other sports, but we have the Eagles and the Giants. And if the Phillies can get their act together and somehow win tomorrow night, we will have two Philly sports games on in the same night because game 4 of the NLDS would also be happening around the same time as this game. But if you ask me for my honest opinion, I don't think I'll be watching a game 4 on Thursday, but I hope I'm wrong. Anyways, we have the Eagles and the Giants. Who do we think is going to win?
I'll go first. Um, I picked against the Eagles last week, and that paid off. I'm a believer in the Giants, kinda. I think Jackson Dart could be the guy for them going forward. Um, I'm not as high on Cam Scatterbo as a lot of other people, but I think the Giants defensively could keep this close, but I think I'm going to go Philadelphia.
Luke?
So you want to think about Cam Scottaboo? the term like high on him. I like him a lot. He's one of the most entertaining players to watch, especially as far as rookies go. But I really like his right now. His ceiling is solidifying himself as the starter. Like I don't think he's this, you know, game changing player necessarily. Um, which I'm just going to bring up as somebody who does really enjoy me some Cam Scatterby. But um, I had to go Philly this week. Doesn't matter how they looked last week. The Giants did not look good last week. The Saints finally won a game. They'd been trying. They'd been knocking on the door. They finally won a game. Jackson Dart struggled. He's going to struggle. He's a rookie. That was his second game. Um, that team, they're not ready to win games consistently. It might come eventually, but it's not going to come this early. So this is a get right game for Philly. I expect them to win, even if they throw 4 times or 40 times like they did last week.
Yeah, I think Luke hit it all on the head there. Get right game for Philly here. The Giants, I don't really know what to think about them right now. Beat the Chargers in Jackson Dart's debut. Dart looked pretty good in that game. Then followed that up with a loss in New Orleans to the Saints, a game that Dart did not look particularly amazing. So, yeah, and I mean, Eagles lost last week. It was a close loss, and I think this is definitely, like Luke said, a get right game for them. They want to get back on track. They know they're one of the better teams in the league, and they're going to prove it again. Even though it's a short week, they'll definitely get a win here and get back on track.
All right.
And we have our second London Tea and Crumpets game of the year now. We have the Broncos facing the Jets. The Broncos fresh off an upset victory over the Eagles that Dante called, and the Jets fresh off the normal Jets program. Embarrassment and a loss. So, do we think that changes this week? I will start by saying no. Denver will win this game. I haven't really thought of a lock of the week yet. In fact, let me take a quick look at the schedule. I don't think I'm going to make it this. Actually, no, I know for a fact I'm not going to make it this because I remember what I predicted for it earlier. So this will not be my lock of the week, but Denver will easily cruise here.
Luke, go for it, bud.
Yeah, the Jets are going to start 0-6. Some question marks are going to get thrown around. Fingers are going to need to get pointed after a start like this. That team is soft. Aaron Glenn has not changed the culture. In fact, he might have, but he's having the opposite effect as he expected himself to have. Justin Fields is not the guy. He's doing some excellent stat padding at the end of these games where you can look at it and say, oh, look, he's averaging like whatever yards per game, however many touchdowns, only one pick or no picks maybe. They're not going to win ball games. They're going to continue to lose. They're going to continue to be 0 and whatever. And this is just a disaster that continues to snowball. And this should be a pretty easy. This should be a pretty easy Broncos win. I could see this kind of being a trap game for the Broncos, a team that they should have no problem with, especially after knocking off Philly. But let's not overthink it. It's the Jets. The Jets suck. So give me Denver.
Yeah, going into this year, I feel like the big question mark was how are the Jets, how is Justin Fields and the Jets offense going to perform? We thought their defense was going to be pretty solid because it has been pretty decent the
It
past
has been.
couple years, but
It's been their calling card, but
as of now, their defense looks really
awful.
bad. Their offense,
Zero takeaways.
zero takeaways in their own five, really crazy. I think that's the biggest reason the Jets aren't performing. You bring in Aaron Glenn to be this defensive minded guy who was very good in Detroit as a DC, but it just hasn't translated over to New York, and it's the polar opposite defensively for the Broncos. They have been one of the best units in football, and offensively they're miles ahead of the Jets at this moment. So I have no reason to pick New York here. I like Denver a lot. So.
Yeah, pretty easy there. Now we're on to the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday. And this, ironically, is a banger of a game. We have the Seahawks and the Jaguars. Seahawks coming off a loss, but have been one of the better teams so far in the NFL this season, I'd say, or at least one of the most underrated. Jaguars coming off 2 straight wins. They beat the Niners last week, and this week, I called this one. They upset the Chiefs. It was last night on Monday Night Football. So now back home again for another game. They'll get Seattle. I'm kind of back and forth on this one. So somebody else want to start?
I could start. Um, Seattle was really good. Seattle was legit. Sam Darnold put up a hell of a game. Um, who, why is against Tampa Bay? Sorry, I forgot who they played for a second. That was probably the best game from Sunday. But Jacksonville also is kind of legit. They're playing really well. Liam Cohen is, you know, seem like one of the coach of the year candidates so far. Um, but to be honest, I like Seattle's experience more than I like Jacksonville's right now, and I think Seattle's going to go in to Duval County and get the win.
Luke?
Yeah, this is a close one. Um, we know how Jacksonville looked last night, marching into Kansas City and getting an impressive. Or am I wrong?
It was in
Say
No,
it
it
Jacksonville.
was home. I'm sorry, it was home.
You're good.
It was home. Uh, doesn't change what I'm saying. We know how they looked last night against Kansas City, who jumped out to a 14-0 lead. They did not let that phase them. That's the trait of a really good team. But you're right, Dante. Seattle also looked fantastic. They just happened to get outgunned by the Buccaneers, whose offense continues to refuse to slow down. So this is going to be one of those games that could go either way. Will definitely be on my TV. I'm going to take the Jaguars.
Hmm,
Just kind of a gut feeling.
nice.
We all picked the Seahawks last week against the Bucks just because of a slight gut feeling. We were all slightly wrong. Um, and so coming off a win, coming off a loss at home, I'm not even a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I would say Sam Darnold might be the slightly better quarterback. But I'm looking forward to this coaching matchup. I'm looking forward to seeing how this one plays out, especially in the fourth quarter. I think this one could come down to the wire. But give me Jacksonville off of vibes alone.
Cool.
Y'all are putting me in quite the spot here, aren't you?
Yep.
Um, I'm gonna go with my gut as well, and my gut says Seattle rebounds and they get a win on the road. Out of the quarterbacks right now, the one I am more 50-50 on is definitely Trevor Lawrence. Sam Darnold has proven me wrong. It's safe to say I was a believer that his 1 year in Minnesota was going to be a little bit of a 1 year wonder, and he wasn't going to be that elite quarterback in Seattle. And he's definitely proven me wrong. He's been a stud there so far, and I think it'll continue this week. And like you saw in the fantasy leaders, AJ Barner, JSN, we're all up there on the leaderboard too. I like how he's getting his weapons involved. And yeah, I expect that to continue this week. So I'll go Seattle. And moving on, we have the Chargers and the Dolphins in Miami, both teams coming off losses last week. The Chargers lost to the Commanders, the Dolphins lost to my Carolina Panthers, which I'll get more into later. But I think even though both teams are kind of struggling right now, well, I guess Miami's been struggling all year, but the Chargers have lost 2 games in a row. I still believe the Chargers are the better team. Actually made a trade today for Odafe from the Ravens, who I believe is a former Penn Stater, unless
Yep.
I'm mistaken.
Jason Owen. Yep.
So, um, yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works. I'm gonna take the Chargers here. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm explaining. Pretty easy pick for me here. Chargers are the better team. We are counting down the weeks until Mike McDaniel gets fired out of Miami. So yeah, give me the Chargers.
Go for it, Luke.
Yeah, Mike McDaniel someday soon is going to make somebody really happy when he's their offensive coordinator. But it's not going to be this week, and for that reason, give me the Chargers. Although I will say this is an upset watch because the Chargers seems like everybody was pretty quick, including myself, to crown them as back, and they have some real problems that they have not looked good the past 2 weeks. They are not a brick wall like we might have been led to believe. So this is one to keep an eye on. If they lose this game, there's some real question marks, but that's just because the Dolphins have been as bad as they've been. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, it seems like every prediction Luke has made surrounding the AFC East has come to fruition. He's not missing.
Kind of like a superpower.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I mean,
Uh,
it's pretty easy when you say Dolphins lose, Jets lose, and I love Drake May, and I
yeah, right.
somehow that one lands. So
The Holy Trinity. Um,
yeah,
so for this, I'm going to ride with Luke here, and I'm going to also go with the Chargers.
all right. I think you'll be just fine with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Something tells me.
All right.
Ooh,
Now, before the season, this game was one that you could have circled on your calendar as, game of the week potential, but now you have the Rams, who have been a pretty good team, lost last week to the Niners on Thursday night, but that was a very close loss. But then you have the 1-4 Baltimore Ravens, and possibly soon the 1-5 Baltimore Ravens, depending on if Lamar Jackson plays in this game or not. And I will be going with the Rams, regardless if Lamar Jackson plays or not. Um, what I saw was that he was out multiple weeks, could miss 2 to 3 games. So I'm expecting him to miss this game. Even if he does play this game, we know he will not be at 100%. And the Rams will probably take advantage of that because Matt Stafford, given his old age, is still elite. And the Ravens defense sucks. So, yeah, not much to explain there. I will take the Rams. The Ravens are going to start 1-5.
I'll go next. Um, Ravens 1-5 start. I gotta say, I feel like everybody saw this coming, especially me. I don't know. It seems like the writing was on the wall really early in the season, and I'm just kidding. Yeah, this really sucks for Ravens fans. And that's coming from a Steeler fan. I feel bad because this was like supposed to be the year for them, and it still very well could be. You can't count out Lamar Jackson. You can't count out this Ravens team. But if they keep piling up these losses, it's really going to look bleak for them. And Adam made a great point. I think even if Lamar plays in this game, I'm still picking the Rams. And I truly think even if Lamar played last week against Houston, they still lose. Um, gave up 44 points to a Texan team who has looked fine, but really hasn't been the team they looked like, 2 years ago whenever CJ Stroud was putting up historical numbers in his rookie year. Um, the Rams are fully healthy. The Ravens are far from it. I like the Rams to cruise in this one.
I will say before Luke goes, back to the point you made about Lamar could not have made a difference last week. I don't think God himself would have made a difference for the Ravens last week. They got obliterated
Yeah, real.
at home too. So, anyways, Luke.
Yeah, and I expect no different this week. This is my lock of the week. Let's not
Wow.
waste no time. Give me the Rams.
This is crazy that this is happening. Like, just think
Yeah,
about like, but
they might crawl to like 7 wins this year, but
I'm not getting that confident yet because like I'll talk about the Steelers soon, but
I don't know. It depends with Lamar. It depends with that defense.
yeah,
Harbaugh's seat is heating up. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, very true.
Yeah, that's a discussion I think we're gonna have soon is John Harbaugh long term with that Ravens team. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. We have the Cardinals and the Colts here in Indianapolis. Pretty embarrassing week for the Cardinals last week, having a sizable lead against the Tennessee Titans, who most may argue, besides the winless Saints and Jets, was the worst team in the NFL. In fact, many may have argued they were the worst team in the NFL. And you let them come back and win that game. So now Tennessee's no longer winless, and the Cardinals have a bunch of question marks. You've got your coach apologizing for stuff. And then you have the Colts, who Daniel Jones is just like Indiana Jones continues riding into the sunset. He is really having a good year. Jonathan Taylor is playing like Wisconsin prime Jonathan Taylor. You have Luke Peters, I mean Tyler Warren getting touchdowns every now and then. Um,
Hold on, hold on, hold on. Wow.
what?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I
Yeah,
read,
I know what you're going to say, and it's not as dramatic as you thought it might have been. Yeah,
I read Cardinals are finding head coach Jonathan Gannon.
yeah,
I read it
not
as
firing.
Cardinals
Oh,
hiring. Sorry, that's on me. My bad.
that's okay.
All right.
For a second, I was like, what happened there? I wasn't on my phone. So
Sorry, my
I do have my phone pulled up looking through the rest of the schedule this week, trying to figure out an upset. But yeah, it's really hard to do this week.
sorry to
Dante
interrupt.
and I were talking about that beforehand. But anyways, we got this game first. And yeah, basically to piggyback off what I said, to piggyback off a WG staple. Um, I'll be going with the Colts. They're looking fantastic right now. The Cardinals, everything seems to be going wrong. They're starting to point fingers. So yeah, I will go with the Colts, especially with them being at home. I think they're going to build off their momentum and get another win.
Not much to say about this one. I would almost like to have a second lock of the week. Um, Colts. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm picking the Colts, obviously, but I can't figure out why they are so good. Like, why are they balling? Like, the real only superstar they have on offense is Jonathan Taylor, and then they just have a bunch of solid guys on defense. You know?
Well, okay. Week by week case study. Geno Smith gifted them like 20 points last week.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
that also kind of matters. But no, I mean they've been fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like I'm all here for it. I'm rooting for the Colts big time.
Yeah.
All right, Adam.
All right. Let's get into this. Before I talk about the Panthers game this week, which will be a little brief because to me there's not much to talk about here. But we'll talk about last week a little bit. So tell the tale here. Wake up a little late on Sunday. Luke and I slept in. I throw the game on, um, kind of like half asleep because I just took a shower. We like really slept in. Um, did Dante disappear?
No, I'm
Oh,
here. Sorry.
never mind. He's back. Um, yeah, throw the game on, kind of half asleep, and I'm sitting there watching it a little bit, half watching it a little bit, and then I look up and I start to pay a little more attention, and Miami just starts to add on and add on and add on points. Bryce Young has a fumble. Bryce Young throws an ugly pick. All of a sudden, it's 17-0 Miami, and I'm sitting there like, do I really want to do this today? I like half considered just turning the game off and giving up because I'm like, at the rate we're going, man, this is gonna suck. But then something clicked in our brains. Bryce led a very beautiful 6-minute drive to end the first half. We started to claw back. All of a sudden, it was 17-7. Then it was 17-10. Then it was 17-13. Then all of a sudden, we had the lead. And then we started trading blows. And all of a sudden, in the end, Carolina did just enough to win this game. So, yeah, I am very surprised about the comeback, but very happy to say the least. Rico Dowdle, like I said in the beginning of the episode, take a bow. Chuba Hubbard, if you are truly injured, you can take your time coming back because Rico Dowdle, we have you, and he is also that guy. And yeah, Bryce, way to rebound, way to look better later on in the game. We saw some plays from Jimmy Horn finally getting in there. Tet had a nice first half, nothing in the second half, actually, but had a very good first half. Xavier Legette had a nice touchdown. But yeah, lots to be excited about from that game. But now we go to this game. The Panthers, another home game. They will be hosting the Dallas Cowboys this week, who I believe each of the last 2 years or 3 years, we have lost by a lot to these guys. And while I think it'll be closer this year, I am expecting the losing to Dallas to continue. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. But I think we'll make it closer and more exciting this year. Rico Dowdle will definitely have a chip on his shoulder if he gets more playing time or is the RB1 again, considering this is his former team he's playing in the Dallas Cowboys, the team that chose Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders over him in free agency. And that's not a knock on Javonte Williams. He's having a very good year, but at the time was very questionable. So, yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine today who's a Cowboys fan who pretty much confirmed that CeeDee Lamb will be out for this game. So it'll be George Pickens taking most of the receptions alongside, I guess, Jake Ferguson. And Dak's been playing really well, so I do expect the Cowboys to win this one, but here's hoping we can make it interesting.
Yeah. Um, I do think Carolina is going to be able to move the ball a little bit against this Dallas defense, and put up some points. But I just think the Dallas offense is just going to be a little bit too much for Carolina this week. Um, but yeah, I was very impressed with Rico Dowdle, as I mentioned before. Got to get Tet a little bit more involved. He had a pretty solid game, but I think he should be the focal point of Carolina's offense, and I'm sure Adam agrees with that
I do.
statement.
Yes.
Um, but George Pickens has looked phenomenal so far for the Cowboys. Still one of my favorite receivers in the league. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with Dallas here.
Yeah, it's never the case that any football team or any front office, or anyone, anywhere around the league, anybody would not want to continue winning. But this, to me, seems like two teams who are going to be desperate to continue to build off of what they had, especially last week. Um, that being said, I have more faith in the Cowboys to do so. I think you I'm just going to be kind of making stuff up on the fly if I talk more about this game. I don't really have a ton of reason. Um, Panthers did what they needed to do last week. Then again, it was the Dolphins. I'd like to see them have a better game this week than a lot of people are expecting them to. Um, the Cowboys are one of those weird teams who sometimes they just drop 50 points on a team that they should drop 50 points on, and sometimes they look off. So it depends on what version you get. Depends on the version of George Pickens, but he has looked fantastic for them, as you said, Dante. So I'm going to take.
All right. Luke, I'll let you have the floor here.
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about the Patriots real quick. What could be said? What could possibly be said that hasn't already been said about Drake May over the past couple of days? It could not have gone better Sunday Night Football. Well, it could have, I guess. He didn't actually have any touchdowns, but I was right. Um, Weird way to put it, and all. It was his coming out party. He is now arrived as one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League, and Jets and Dolphins fans and Bills fans, you got a couple years of Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi and Cam Newton, but back to Tom Brady. That's the way it should be. Um, and I'll get this out of the way. I expect to beat the Saints this week. Why am I worried? Um, we should beat the Saints. We should be able to handle the Saints. This should be a game where we come out and we score 40 points, and the final score is like 37-20, maybe because the Saints get a couple garbage time touchdowns. I really want this to be a statement win. It can't just be a win. Um, but we looked exactly how I wanted us to look on Sunday night. Stefon Diggs he took that game personally, 10 receptions for 150-ish yards. Um, Antonio Gibson tears his ACL. That's tough. Um, Reminder Stevenson is still the leading back. That's tough. Why couldn't it have been him? I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. But uh, we should really start giving the ball to Trayvon Henderson, which is not going to happen. But I would really, really enjoy to see that. I'd really enjoy seeing that. Um, I mean, he was surgical with some of the throw and the run to Diggs, uh, the throw in between the safety to Booty on the sideline, the first down when the play was dead, the stiff arm to avoid the sack in the backfield. He was fantastic. He looked like a superstar on national TV. And so I really need that to continue. I need us to not take our foot off the gas. It should be a dominating win. Um, and let me tell you something, boys. So the Patriots sit at the seven seed in the AFC. We're in the playoff picture. We're above the red line. At 3-2. Our schedule from here on out. Let's look at the next four, especially. Saints 4-2. Titans 5-2. Browns 6-2. Falcons 7-2. Okay, I won't get too greedy. Let's say we lose to Tampa Bay, 7-3. Jets 8-3. Bengals 9-3. Giants 10-3. Then it's the Bills, Ravens, and Jets. Even if we win one of those, 11-5. Dolphins 12-5 is what we're looking at. Let's get greedy. It's time to get greedy. Winning football is back in Foxborough. Give me the Patriots this week, boys. I'm fired up.
Yeah, Patriots looked really good. Sorry to interrupt you, Adam.
Oh, you're good. I
Pats
was
looked
just
awesome.
saying, heck yeah.
Yeah, that was huge. That was one of the statement wins one of their signature wins all year. And they're yet to even play the Bills at home, which could really,
Yeah.
that could also be a big game for them.
I
But yeah,
you know, I think Adam and I had this conversation at least 5 times before over the summer. We went through our team's schedules and predicted it. I think more than once I said we would split with Buffalo, but we both win away. So I could totally see that happening where we win in Orchard Park and they win in Gillette Stadium. But nonetheless, Sunday could not have gone much better. So
yeah, I definitely like the Patriots in this game. I think they get it done. Drake May looks, like Luke said, surgical. And honestly, Luke, don't take this the wrong way. Drake May just doesn't look like a stereotypical NFL quarterback. It's so funny. Like he has the long sleeves and just no gloves,
Yeah,
but he slings the rock like 40 miles an hour and is so accurate. I just think
good
that's
touch. Yeah,
like he doesn't have the classic three-step drop back where he's surveying the field. Doesn't wear, I mean, he has worn a visor before, but like, I don't know. It's funny how he's just like
he's
doesn't.
like a Josh Allen, Justin Herbert hybrid. Who,
Yeah, it's crazy, and I'm so
yeah,
I'm a fan. I like him.
yeah,
Um, so before I make my pick, which I won't really hold because it's the Patriots. Luke, I picked up on something you said about the game. You said, "Why am I worried?" Well, I'll tell you why you might be a little worried. Looking at the Saints schedule here, despite how bad they have been a team that's battled in their games for most of the year. There's only one game on here that they really didn't battle, which was the
yeah.
44 to 13 loss to the Seahawks in week 3. Other than that, week 1 they played the Cardinals, only lost 20 to 13. Week 2 they played the 49ers, only lost 26 to 21. Week 4 they played the Bills, a little bit bigger of a loss, but still 31 to 19 with a team that bad against Buffalo. You'll take that. And then the 26 to 14 win last week against the Giants. So this Saints team could definitely hang in there and they could definitely battle in games, but in the end, the better team is going to get the job done, and the better team is you. So,
Yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly win, and I'd really like it if it wasn't. I think it would say a lot if it wasn't. I'm going to be looking out for that, but listen.
and on the road, you could consider it a little bit of a trap game, but then again, you guys are the better team. Mike Vrabel is a much more experienced and better coach than Kellen Moore is. I think Kellen Moore will be outcoached, the Saints will be outplayed, and I think you guys will get the job done.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel and Kellen Moore is like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. That's what it is.
Pretty much.
Except hydrogen bomb loves Ramondre Stevenson. That's the only issue.
Yeah, true. I wish hydrogen bomb loved Trayvon Henderson in terms of my fantasy team, but
Yeah.
uh,
Mhm.
anyway.
Woo! All right, Dante, take the floor.
Yeah, Steelers back from their bye week, and honestly, as a Steeler fan, I'm on cloud nine. Steelers are 3-1. Played their best game of the year 2 weeks ago. Everybody in the AFC North besides Pittsburgh is looking like dog, like very, very no good for the rest of the AFC North. But the Steelers are thriving, and hopefully we keep this up. Not gonna, you know, not gonna blink, not gonna take our foot off the gas. Hopefully, but we have the Cleveland Browns, the orange incarnation of Satan. Really hate the Cleveland Browns, as you guys know. However, Dylan Gabriel did look pretty solid against Minnesota. I'll give it to him. Um, but I don't see it going his way this time around. I am a little bit scared of Quinshon Judkins because he is a legit NFL back. No training camp, and the guy is just putting on a show. But the Steelers are always really good against Cleveland, especially at home or at home rather. So I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to come in rested. I like Rodgers to come in and be like Drake May, be a surgical passer. I really like Pittsburgh in this one. I think they get it done.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Vibes are high for the Steelers right now. For the Browns, you could argue to a degree as well. Dylan Gabriel did not look bad in his NFL debut. In fact, kind of solid. And they nearly beat the Vikings in London. And now they have Joe Flacco off the team. He was traded today, which we'll get into that on a more later. To me, this seems like a game where the Browns still have a good defense and they're going to be rushing a lot. So to me, this is a game where Aaron Rodgers is going to be slinging the rock. So I expect to see guys like DK Metcalf step up this week. Maybe even Calvin Austin if he's healthy, right? Calvin Austin.
He is not currently. I
Okay,
mean,
then.
he's like limited in the early portions of the week. He had a shoulder injury against Minnesota and left in a sling, which is not good, but he's limited. He's not practicing. And then Jalen Ramsey also has a hamstring injury, who is also limited at the early portions of the week. But Tom
Gotcha.
said he's optimistic that they'll play. So
Yeah. So yeah, this will be a good game for DK, Pat Frymuth, maybe even a Ben Skowronek game. Maybe we get a Roman Wilson coming out party here. Um, but yeah, this will be a Steelers win coming off the bye. Like I said, vibes are high. Rodgers is rested. Those home fans will be into it because it's Cleveland. They don't like Cleveland. They know they can beat Cleveland. So yeah, Steelers will win this one.
Did you
Luke?
pick?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Steelers. Dylan Gabriel. That's really the only thing for me to watch is will he look better? Will he look worse? I don't think it's any secret that we're not really going to get a Shador appearance until we absolutely have to, if we even ever have to, because of the storylines that come with that. But they're burning the boats trading Joe Flacco, so we're just going to have to wait and see what this offense looks like, see if they put up a fight against Pittsburgh. And I think you guys covered it, but Pittsburgh has a real opportunity to just twist the knife into the AFC North a little bit more. With a win here, and I expect them to do that.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, we're on to the 4 o'clock slate, and we have a pretty uninspiring one to open things up. We have the Tennessee Titans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Tennessee, like I said, coming off their first win of the season last week. The Raiders, though, have just looked awful. Geno Smith, 9 interceptions through 5 weeks.
Jeez, man.
Not looking great. In fact, my family was on FaceTime last night, and I was talking to my dad about the Raiders, and he was like, "Yeah, Geno Smith looks bad. Who's their backup?" And I reminded him, Kenny Pickett,
Yep.
or maybe it's Aiden O'Connell, but Kenny Pickett, yeah. Um, so we could see some Kenny Pickett football soon. But anyways, you guys might be a little surprised by this, but this is my upset of the week. I'm taking Tennessee. Like I said, coming off a victory last week, I think Cam Ward's got some momentum now. Brian Callahan maybe will push all the chips in the middle here. Another opportunity to save his job, which I still think it's pretty inevitable that he gets let go, but going to do everything he can, of course. Tennessee's got a solid defense that could definitely take advantage of some bad plays from Geno Smith. So I do think this will be a close one, but ultimately I'm locking in my upset here and going with Tennessee. Tighten up.
I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I don't. This is the battle of mid, the battle of part of my French. I'm gonna quote Cam Ward. This is a battle of ass right now. This is not good. But I guess I'll pick the Raiders. I don't know. The Titans should have lost that game against Arizona. I think we all can agree on that. Um, but they won. Shout out to them. That was huge. Cam Ward did look better towards the latter half of that game, but um, I think the Raiders have to get it together and at least look competent eventually. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go with them.
Yeah. My first thought when it comes to the Raiders is just how good Kyler Murray will look in that jersey next year. Um,
You picked
that's
up.
my take.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my take. And you're right, Adam. This feels like it could be an upset, but that's the exact reason why it's not going to be because it feels like it could be because we all know that Tennessee should have lost that game last week. So it doesn't really matter how bad Geno Smith is. I didn't watch the collapse of Arizona last week, but I remember seeing how ridiculous it had to be for the Titans to even have a chance to squeeze out the field goal at the end. So give me the Raiders.
Yep.
Cool. All right. This to me is perhaps the game of the 4 p.m. slate here. We have the 4-1 Niners and the 4-1 Buccaneers, who, again, I don't know what quarterback's going to be playing for San Francisco, but I'm at the point where it's not a bad thing if it's Mac Jones. You could argue he's been playing better than Brock Purdy this year. Mac Jones has been playing some good football. And fitting after the Niners decided to throw 50 million in Brock Purdy's face. So yeah. Another thing I said on my FaceTime last night. Um, they think they figured this out when at the same time they really never do figure it out with that quarterback in San Francisco. And that makes that an interesting one in this game. But I think I'm still going to go with the Buccaneers. They have a massive victory over Seattle from last week. They're looking really good. Baker Mayfield is looking like a top five, maybe even top three quarterback in the NFL this year. One of the best for sure. And the Niners, while the Niners are good, are still banged up. And that's something Tampa Bay really can't say. And they've got players who are making plays for them week in and week out. Like I said, Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka has been fantastic. The Buccaneers defense has been good. So, yeah, I expect this to be another close one, but I think Tampa Bay is going to pull it out.
Go for it, Luke.
I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as well. 4-1 seems very lucky for San Francisco. The whole Mac Jones thing, I've seen this before. I've read this book before. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is even a top half quarterback. It's probably around the right placement. But unless Mac Jones sees another dead body before the game this week, I don't think he's going to have that magic. So, even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with the Bucks here. Hot take, maybe an unpopular opinion. I think Tampa Bay is the best team in football right now. They are really playing like it. Baker Mayfield is out of his mind, playing the best football he's ever played. Um, I don't know if you guys saw, but towards the end of the Buccaneers Seattle game, Baker made one of the craziest throws he's ever made in his life. Rolled out to the left, spun around and hit a guy in the end zone right in his hands who was like almost double covered. It was one of the best throws he's ever made in his life. Um, and like Luke said, Mac Jones, I just have way more faith in Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. They are a much more complete team, I think. Emeka Egbuka looks like rookie of the year candidate right now, in my humble opinion. Um, Tampa's defense is really good. I'm just a big Tampa guy all around the board right now, so I'm going to go with them.
All right. A lot of agreements so far this week, and I think it's going to continue here because we have the Bengals and the Packers. And some Bengals news today. We talked about Joe Flacco earlier. That is supposedly their new QB1, as the Browns and Bengals made the very rare in-division trade, sending Joe Flacco. Trust me, that's what I think too, but I still think it's worth talking about a tiny bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, but they made the rare in-division trade, sending Joe Flacco from Cleveland to Cincinnati. He stays in the state of Ohio, but goes to another part of Ohio. And to me, 40-year-old Flacco, I'm just not sure it's really the savior of the Bengals season. I'm not going to come out and say they're a playoff team now because Joe Flacco is their quarterback. Um, I'm willing to go as far as saying it's not Jake Browning, and that's a good thing. But that's about as far as I can go. And they have Green Bay this week, a team that tied in their last game and is coming off a bye week. Micah Parsons in that defense is rested. Jordan Love is rested, ready to go. They'll be in front of their home crowd. This is undoubtedly my lock of the week. I'm taking Green Bay to win this one, possibly by a lot, because we know how bad the Bengals defense is, and the Bengals offense has been pretty bad as well. Ja'Marr Chase is still putting up stats, but not much outside of that. Um, Green Bay should win this one pretty easily. I'll take the Packers. Lock of the week.
Yeah, this is also my lock. I'm taking Green Bay. It's going to be super weird seeing Joe Flacco in a Bengals uniform. He seems a little bit too old to work to have like that modern of a uniform on. It's going to look a little silly on him. Um,
I'll interrupt you real quick.
you're
Sorry.
fine.
I told Luke today, the meme of the washed athletes with the outstanding song? What if that trend is just Joe Flacco, every uniform he's worn since he's left Baltimore? Pretty much.
But then again, he was like really good with Cleveland for like
That's
nine
that's
games and like led him to the playoffs. So like, I don't know. That is like
yeah.
tough.
Philly Joe Flacco is the weirdest one to me.
That's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always forget he was on the Jets too. That's strange.
hmm
But it doesn't
Colts
surprise me. Colt? He was a Colt. He was a Colt.
last year.
And
Yeah,
he beat
it
us.
was a
That's
good
right.
call.
He
Yeah,
beat
he did beat the Steelers.
the Steelers.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
But yeah,
Luke,
lock of the week, Packers for sure.
Yeah. I will say, watch for Jamar Chase to have a huge week. It just Joe Flacco seems like the quarterback to make that happen, but it's in what's going to be a terrible game. So, Packers.
Agreed. Finally
all
a good.
right. Sunday night football. We've got a good one here. Even if the records don't show it for one side, this game always delivers. Lions and Chiefs brings me back to the 2023 season opener where this game in Arrowhead was a classic, and I expect nothing different this week. You could argue this could have been the Super Bowl last year, and it possibly should have been, but um, we're on to 2025 now. And you have the 4-1 lines and the 2-3 Chiefs. Maybe not what teams and fans were expecting when we got to week 6. But yeah. I guess I'll start here. I was debating, I was telling Dante this before the episode, Luke, before you logged on. Before I locked in Tennessee, I was debating making Kansas City my upset of the week. But I just couldn't bring myself to do that because you can't beat Jacksonville. You can't win some other games. Detroit also, since week 1, has just been on a roll. And even though they are down some guys, I saw Terrion Arnold is hurt and could be out a little while, even though it's not as long as expected. I still think Detroit can win here, and I like them to win, and I like them to keep things rolling. The Lions have just been fantastic lately, and I don't think anybody's talking about it. They could be the best team in the league. I know you were mentioning the Buccaneers, but Detroit is also playing some excellent football. So I think I will take the Lions to win this one in Arrowhead, like they did in 2023. So, yeah.
Actually was going to bring that up. I was going to be like, it's really 1A, 1B. They're both playing out of their mind right now. Um, but I like Detroit here. I think Detroit is playing miles better than Kansas City at the moment. Um, Roster front to back, I think Detroit is much better. Um, yeah, I think Dan Campbell outcoaches Andy Reid, and the Lions get it done in prime time.
Luke, before you pick, I just want to say, how about Detroit as a sports city right now? You've got the Lions, who are one of the best teams, the Tigers, who are in the ALDS. You have the Pistons, who are coming off a playoff appearance. The Red Wings are supposed to be better. It's a good sports city right now.
Yeah,
Not something you see a lot, which is it's good for those Detroit fans. They deserve it. So, anyways, Luke.
Yeah, and then at the same time, I'm taking the Chiefs. Just kind of a gut feeling that the the Lions have been playing like the best team in the NFL. Um, the Chiefs, for a lot of their games, have looked it as well. They have had drives where they've looked fantastic. They've had drives where they've not looked very good at all. Um, but kind of an odd game last night, the pick six. I just have the bad gut feeling. It must have been how a lot of people felt about the Patriots for the past 20 years. Kind of evil empire. It's hard to pick against them, especially when you think, especially when it's going to be a sweep. So I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Is this your upset of the week, Luke?
Chiefs are favored.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Even though they are favored,
Oh
Detroit
yeah,
is still
No,
the better team.
right.
let me look back. Have I taken another upset?
But you're right, it is weird to call that an upset. You do have
I'm
Jacksonville.
not.
That could kind of qualify, even though they are 4-1.
Yeah. Well, we can. Well, I'll come back to that. I'll come back to
We
that.
can always evaluate at the end of the episode. All right. And now we're back to double Monday Night Football, which is ideal for MLB postseason fans because I only have 2 TVs in here. I'm running out of room to put sports games on. So I guess it's one game at a time, so that's a good thing. We're starting off with the Bills and the Falcons in a battle of teams the Peter Zach brothers despise. Luke's not a Bills guy, I'm not a Falcons guy. It's going to be fun watching this one and figuring out who the heck to root for. But regardless, Atlanta had a bye last week. And this week, I like the Bills to get back on track after that loss they had on Sunday night to the Patriots. It was a close one, albeit, but yeah, something tells me this is a get back game for Buffalo. Even though Atlanta is not a bad team by any means, I will give them that. But yeah, I think this will be a get back game for the Bills, and Josh Allen will have a good one here. So
Luke,
Yeah, give me the Bills as well. This could be another close kind of upset watch, but I don't think that defense lets Michael Penix do enough to give them a chance. I think they should be at least a one, like a 7 point victory is what we're looking at. Bills are going to come out angry. We might have poked the bear a little bit, but that's fine. We have until like week 17 into it to face that again. So give me the Bills here.
yeah, I'll go Bills as well. I think I just don't have really any faith in Atlanta to upset here. I just think Josh Allen's going to come out a little bit frustrated from losing to currently their biggest in division rival. Yeah, I like the Bills by a lot.
All right. And one last Monday Night Football game. We have the rematch from last year that saw one of the best plays in the 2024 NFL season and one of the best plays in recent NFL memory. A Hail Mary to end the game thrown by Jaden Daniels to Noah Brown. And now the Bears will be looking to get revenge for that. I remember the Bears were, I think, 4-2 at this point last year during that game, and the wheels completely fell off after that. But the Bears are not necessarily a bad team this year. They've been playing some fine football. Ben Johnson has Caleb Williams looking a lot better, but the Commanders have kind of looked better as of late. To me, a kind of surprising victory on Sunday. Um, I'm saying that as the Seahawks, not the Seahawks. The Mariners just scored a run. Um, but yeah, Washington surprised me last week. Jaden Daniels still looking solid. Kind of a big win against the Chargers. And I think that continues this week. I think Jaden Daniels builds off that. I think this is going to be a really close game, though. Could come down to a field goal or 6 or 7 points. But um, yeah, give me Washington. Finally got you to flinch, Dante.
Yeah, I was staring into the camera for a little bit. Um, this is going to be upset. I don't know. I really don't have anything else down here, but I'm going to go with the Bears. I saw the Commanders are 5.5 point favorites. So I'm going to go with the Bears on the
I
road.
qualify that. I would qualify that as an upset.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Bears here. I think Caleb Williams isn't getting enough credit. I think he's playing pretty good football. I think Luther Burden has been low key one of the better rookie wide receivers. He's really looked good in every game he's played. And another underrated wide receiver right now is Rome Odunze. He is absolutely balling out for the Bears. Really happy to see him getting the ball more than he has been because last year it was really the DJ Moore and Keenan Allen show, but now Rome Odunze is really hitting his stride and becoming the receiver we all thought he could be. And top 10, he's looking like a top 10 pick in whatever draft that was 2 years ago, 1 year
Can
ago.
I give a hot take or potentially maybe not a hot take, but a take?
Sure, man.
Regardless of how the Bears will play this year, I believe DJ Moore will be traded by the deadline.
I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I think he will.
I'm
I
a,
think
I'm a
his
little hesitant to agree just because trades don't always end up happening in football, but I get exactly where you're coming from, and
his
I agree with it.
I
his
think
role is starting to really decrease there.
I think either way, regardless if he gets traded or not at the deadline, he won't be a Bear next season.
I think everybody can agree with that. I mean, like you said, Roma Dunze is by far their one now. Luther Burden has been even getting more production lately. The Bears just have too many cooks in the kitchen, and they don't necessarily need DJ Moore anymore. So
Yeah, true.
With that being said, I'm also making this my upset of the week. Um, a little bit of a gut feeling, but the Commanders beating the Chargers last week, which it might look a little bit more impressive than it was, just because Debo Samuel had to look really good for that to happen. Going down to the end zone twice, I think. And the Chargers might not have been the great team that we thought they might have been through the first 3 weeks. So we might be looking at that with rose-tinted glasses a little bit. Um, and the Bears are rested off of a bye week. Ben Johnson, I said earlier, the Cowboys and Panthers, those feel like teams who want to build off of what they've had going. It just screams to me that the Bears are going to want to win a game like this, especially the way the game happened last year and the way that ruined their season. They were never the same after that point. So give me the Bears and what is an upset, but should be a close game. Should be a good game.
Yeah. Before we end here, well, I guess I'll stop sharing my screen because that's it for the picks. But I saw this TikTok page, and it's a podcast, it's like an AFC North podcast, and this was like 2 months before the season started, and the debate was who's better, DJ Moore or DK Metcalf, and everybody except for the Steelers fans were like, DJ Moore is obviously better than DK Metcalf. How's that turn out? How's that
not
work?
anymore.
How's that?
Yeah, I would have even said DK before the season.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
And I'm a Panthers fan. DJ Moore is a Panthers legend.
I rock with DJ Moore, but it's DK
Yeah.
Metcalf.
Yeah, me too. I
Okay,
love me some DJ Moore.
DJ Moore or Stephon Diggs? Maybe this is a stupid question after last night or
Hmm.
2 nights ago, but
Diggs.
Diggs, right? Yeah.
Diggs
Took
has
a
had the
little bit,
better season
took
for
a little
sure.
while to get going, but
The only time Diggs was not better than DJ Moore was Houston.
Yeah, and then he tore his ACL. So it's like, what? Yeah.
I mean,
DJ Moore,
but
DJ.
like, sorry, go for it.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say DJ Moore or maybe like Cortland Sutton, Terry
Portland
McLaurin.
Sutton, easy.
Sorry, Terry McLaurin.
DJ Moore over Taylor's kind of like right now.
He's not having a good year, but um,
At the end of the year, we're definitely gonna have to redo our wide receiver tier list.
Garrett Wilson or DJ Moore, Luke?
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah,
Garrett.
exactly. Good.
Yeah.
He's learning.
All right. I think that does it for us. From all of us at WG, we hope you enjoyed this episode, and we all hope that James Franklin can clean things up for Penn State football this week.
Can we just like not talk about that anymore?
We won't, but I
Penn
just
State
want
football does not exist to me. Steelers are 3-1, top of the AFC North. That's all I'm focused on right now.
Pass above the red line. That's all I care about.
NBA season is coming up. That's soon going to be all I care about because of the Thunder. But Phillies,
Are
please
making
win.
a comeback. Phillies in 5. Give it to me.
I hope you're right, man. I really hope you're right. Not a lot from the last two games makes me optimistic, but I hope you're right.
Dude, the Powder Blues are gonna work magic for you guys. Don't worry.
I hope so,
Who's
man.
starting Game 3?
Aaron Nola.
Dude, he's the guy. Is is Zach Wheeler hurt or is he okay?
Wheeler is out probably until spring training.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's a big bummer. That's a big bummer.
hmm
But the offense is gonna get going. Kyle Schwarber's gonna look like himself, and
I hope so.
he's gonna go Willie Stargell mode.
Billy Stargell mode. All right. I hope you're right, man.
Yep, me too.
All right. But anyways,
All right.
Adam,
Dante.
what?
And I hope everybody out there has a good Will Campbell Wednesday.
All right, man.
See you guys next week.